In today's video, we will be discussing types of indexes, what is a negative index, how are strings indexed using both positive and negative indexes, how are strings sliced using a negative index, scenario 1, no step size while slicing using a negative index, scenario 2, string slicing using a combination of positive and negative index, scenario 3, slicing using the positive indexes and a negative step size, scenario 4, how to reverse a string. Hey champions, if you are interested in these topics, then keep on watching. You can subscribe to our channel for more such videos. First, let's understand what exactly is a negative index. To understand it, let's first see what is an index in Python. Python strings are an array of bytes, and to access an individual element from this array, we need to know its position in the array. This position is called an index. We have covered string indexing in detail in one of our videos. If you are interested in the topic, then the link is in the description box. An index in Python can be of two types. The first type is the positive index. Here, the pointer moves from left to right in the array. Since it is the default behavior in Python, hence we can refer to it by index. The positive index starts with 0. The next type is the negative index. As the name suggests, the functionality of this index is opposite to that of the positive index. Here, the pointer moves from right to left in the array. It is also known as the reverse index. To depict the negative index, a negative sign is added just before the index and starts with -1. Now that we know about both the indexes in Python, let's see how are strings indexed using both of these indexes. We have a string champ, and here is how it is indexed using a positive and a negative index. As you can see, a positive index starts from the left of the string and has 0 as the starting index, while a negative index starts from the right of the string and has -1 as the starting index. Interesting, isn't it? We have made a separate video on string slicing with a positive index on this channel. If you are interested in the topic, then the link is in the description box. Let's now move on to our next topic, which is how to slice a string using a negative index. Slicing using a negative index is quite similar to that done using a positive index. But one of the distinguishing feature between both is that when the slicing is done using a negative index, the step size is negative, while when the slicing is done using a positive index, the step size is positive. This is important because the step size will direct the direction of the pointer. If the step size is positive, then the pointer will move from left to right in the array. But if the index is negative, then the pointer will move from right to left in the array. Let's look at an example to better understand this concept. For our example, we have taken a string learning champion, and to slice it using a negative index, we have given my string -1 to -5 with a step size of -1 as the slicing command to Python. Once we execute this command, it will return NOIP as the output. Here, -1 is the step size which will move the pointer from right to left. -1 is the start index, which is the index of the last character in the original string. And -5 is the stop index, which is the index of the letter M in the string. And as we all know that this index will not be included in the output. Also note that in this example, start index is greater than the stop index, which is not the case when we do slicing using a positive index. Hence, whenever we want to do slicing using a negative index, we have to keep two things in mind. The first is that step size should be negative, and second is that the start index should always be greater than the stop index, because now we are moving from right to left. I hope the example made everything easier to understand. Let's now look at few other scenarios. Scenario 1. No step size while slicing using a negative index. For this scenario, we have taken -1 as the starting index and -5 as the stop index, but have not defined the step size. Since we have not mentioned any step size, Python will assume it as 1 by default. After executing the command, we will notice that the Python has returned nothing. But why? Isn't it odd? This is because the default step size is 1, which will move the pointer from left to right. But when we gave the starting index as -1 and the ending index as -5, we are telling the Python pointer to move from right to left as the starting index is greater than the stop index. Python did not return anything because of the contradicting inputs. Scenario 2. String slicing using a combination of positive and negative index. For our second scenario, we have given my string -1 to 13 with a step size of -1. When we run this command, Python will return NOI as the result. But shouldn't this be an error? Here, the starting index is not greater than the stop index, but still Python has given us a valid output. This is because each element is represented by a negative as well as a positive index. It doesn't matter which index you mention as long as the start index is before the stop index when we specify -1 as the step size. Let's move on to the next scenario, which is scenario 3, slicing using the positive indexes and a negative step size. In this scenario, we have written my string 7 to 0 with a step size of -1. And when we execute this command, the output will be a string that will start from the 7th index till the 0th index but will not include the element at the 0th index. Hence, we can also slice the string from right to left using both the positive start and stop index as long as the step size is negative. Scenario 4. How to reverse a string. Let's move on to our last scenario where we try to reverse the string we have. For it, we have written my string with a step size of -1 and the output is the reverse of the initial string we gave. Here, notice a few things. First, as we did not mention the starting index, Python has assumed it as -1 by default based on the step size we have given. And second, we also did not mention the stop size. Python has assumed it as the starting of the index by default based on the step size we have given. Here, the step size is the governing factor that will decide the default values of the start and stop indexes along with moving the pointer from right to left. That's it for today's video. I hope all the examples made the concept easier for you. You can share your thoughts or questions in the comment box. Subscribe for more such videos. Bye and meet you in the next one.